Answer Cancer. This is a book review for a book written by Stephen Parkhill called Answer Cancer, Miraculous Healings Explained. And he used hypnosis for cancer. Now, I started reading this because a friend of mine was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And I was hoping that I'd be able to find a way to use hypnosis to help him out. And unfortunately, it was too late. I didn't have my act together, and I don't even know if he would have been into using hypnosis. But it was, if I had been more prepared, if I had known what I was doing ahead of time, then maybe I could have done something for him. And these people claim that they can use hypnosis to help people overcome cancer. And I use a modality of hypnosis called QHHT, and that's quantum healing hypnosis technique. And yes, it does have healing, but I wasn't really going to go out there and say, hey, I work with people with cancer or anything like that. So I started reading this book, and I found, according to Stephen Parkhill, that cancer is created by the mind. And it happens, he has a form of regression therapy, and he takes people back to find out where the initial sensitizing event. And there's also, secondary or subsequent sensitizing events. So something causes, it's like a gestalt that happens where there's an initial event that happens, and then there's a bunch of events that keep happening throughout life that confirm that initial event. So they would all be symptoms of that first event, really, is what it comes down to. And if you can get to that very first event, and you can resolve the trauma from that first event, because whatever happened there happened at a time when we weren't able to really understand it and process it. And now we're in a position where we're much older, we've got a lot more experience, and we might see it in a different way if we experienced it today. But we're still stuck on the way that we felt in the first time. And this first initial sensitizing event is what actually is the root cause of the cancer. And then somewhere along in life, another subsequent event came up that actually triggered the cancer. So some kind of a heavy-duty emotional event that causes specific kinds of cancer. And so he's regressed all these people back, and what he finds most often with cancer is something happening in the womb. Now, what he tells us is that babies form their auditory channel at an early age, and they start hearing and recording everything that goes on while they're in the womb. So all those conversations that parents have are heard by the baby and recorded. They might not understand language at the time. They might not grasp everything that's going on, but it's recorded, and it's like the base programming that happens. So, and what he found is quite often they're talking about aborting the child, killing the child, murdering the child in some way. And he has clients. One guy, he was all he balled himself up in fetal position, and he said he started leaking fluid out of places they weren't even supposed to come from. And what had happened, this guy had finished his session, he went home, did some investigating and stuff, and he found out that his dad squirted some chemical up his bum trying to kill him, to abort him. So it was like murder. And so what happens is you develop this complex that you're not good enough, you don't deserve to live. And he had different clients with different types of things. I mean, that was kind of one of those extreme kind of things. There could be physical violence. It could be just a conversation talking about abortion. And I don't know if that was talked about when I was in the womb, but I do know that everybody was angry, and I developed self-hate in the womb. And this is something I'm going to have to go back and find for myself, whether or not they talked about those kind of things in front of me. But a life of not feeling good enough, according to Stephen Parkhill in this book, has come from in the womb when my family was talking about getting rid of me. My grandparents, one of the things they said was they were going to send me out west or my mom out west to some monastery, and she could have me out there, right? Like, those are the things that went on. When you're a baby and these things happen, you record these things, and then there's other events. I'm not wanted, and there's a lot of things that come in, and they call this gestalt therapy. It's kind of like a bucket. So that would be the first initial sensitizing event, and parents talking about aborting you or something like that. And so you go through life, and every time something comes up that's not feeling good enough, and I shouldn't be here, or I'm a burden to my family or something, that fills up this pot, your gestalt pot of not feeling good enough. And then when it comes up to it, and I think it's not just the emotional event itself, but also there's some kind of a chemical, like you're probably exposed to some kind of household chemical or something like that, and you have the emotion at the same time. And when you've got those two things together and the emotion happens, it sparks this thing. And so you have the initial sensitizing event, you have secondary or subsequent sensitizing events, then you've got the sensitizing event, I don't know what's called, it triggers the actual cancer to happen at the time when it starts growing. And so the cancer is allowed to grow that way. And when he talks about his book, that he does this regression therapy with these people, and they resolve that initial sensitizing event, and then everything from there clears up. If you don't go to the initial sensitizing event and you get one of the subsequent ones, well, it can start. It's like pulling dandelions, right? If you don't get all the roots out down to the very last bit, then it's just going to keep growing back. And so this is what he's saying. And so I've got another book, and what's that other book called? Let me see. It's called The Devil's Therapy. I've actually got that book, and it's called Effective Regression Hypnotherapy. So I'm going to learn a little bit more. Like, I already do regression. I do past life regression. I do timeline therapy. I do a whole bunch of different ones. I probably got 20, 30 different modalities of hypnosis under my belt. I'm a trainer of hypnosis. A trainer of neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. So I've got a lot of different modalities and skills to bring to the table here. And I got a lot of friends who are old and family who are going through these things. And I think it's time that I start getting more involved in the health aspect of the hypnosis, so that I can start helping these people, because there's nothing more frustrating than watching a friend pass. It's hard to take when you know that, maybe this hypnosis can help. And, let's say they want to follow doctor's orders, and what have I got to offer? I don't have anything to say, yeah, hey, I've had success with this person, this person, this person, hey, you should try this. I don't have any of that stuff. This Stephen Parkhill, he's got that. But what can I do, right? I can learn. And if there's anybody out there who wants to try this, if you've got some kind of pain from cancer or something like that, and you want to try hypnosis to get rid of it, if you're ready. And he says one of the big problems is that most people don't come to him until they've tried everything else, And it's like their last resort before they come for hypnosis. And I'm not looking for, last minute, last ditch effort kind of things. But if somebody's got cancer and you want to, and I'm saying totally do everything else that you're doing, ask your doctor to make sure that it's okay. Get clearance with your doctor before you do anything like this. But for somebody who wants to try that, I'm going to start putting together a program. I'm going to read this book here. I'm going to get myself up to speed where I'm just going to do some regression. I'm gonna mix it in with what I do now, because I do PSP, profound somnambulism protocol. I also do QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis technique. And so what I think I can do is bring this in with that. And, I'll also do parts therapy, and I do all this stuff already. So it's just a matter of combining it all and putting it together. And if all we got to do is resolve that initial sensitizing event, we can easily do that. Well, it takes a hypnotic trance. And so for somebody who wants to try that out, I'd like to get a few people under my belt and have some success with this and show that this stuff can actually work. When you go to a doctor and you talk to them about the power of positive thinking and the positive outlook, the people with the positive outlook are the ones who are more likely going to get better. The people with a negative attitude, they just take that slide down and they pass on. And so if you could get it to it early enough and you know it's there, and you're ready to work with it and try the hypnosis to get this thing going, then connect with me. Come on to my website. I have a free strategy session. We can talk about what we can do with that. I'm not going to start charging for this until I've had a little bit of success with it. However, what I might do here, instead of picking a rate, is offer a free will offering. How's that? Not a donation, but a free will offering. You can decide what you pay, and you can decide even after the fact. I just want to get some experience under my belt working with people who have cancer, and get some results with it. That's what I'd really like to see, is if I could get some really positive results for people with cancer. And then, when somebody close to me suddenly has cancer and they already know that I've been helping other people, that's going to be the natural choice. They're not going to wait until last minute to do it anymore. They're already going to know, hey, this guy's got it, right? This is what I hope to do. So if you want to try that out, go to my website, jeffbroomfield.com, and click on the Getting Started button and follow the instructions there. Set yourself an appointment. You book it yourself, and we'll talk about what we can do there. So Answer Cancer is really a great book that describes how cancer is manifested in the mind and what we can do to resolve that issue so we can uncreate what we created and get rid of the cancer. Now, I have no idea how long it takes or anything like that. That's why we need to try it out. So if you're looking for a solution, if you have cancer and you're looking for a way to get at this naturally, then this is one of those things that, you got to look at this book, Answer Cancer. It shows it from a totally different perspective, and it might be the one that helps you out. So I'd recommend reading this book. So thanks for tuning in. Stay awesome and have a good one.